What's up, everybody? Buckeye Nation, a wounded Buckeye Nation here. Johnny Bullet, Shane Larson, the game time guru here. Shane's already pulled a page out of the ladies' handbook. When he hurts your heart, you just go get some ice cream. Ryan Day has hurt us again. Matter of fact, let me not frame it like that. We've been hurt again. I want to see what you guys think about this. Welcome back, Ohio State football, Scarlet and Great. Subscribe to this channel to see what in the world is next for Buckeye football, because we will be sure to be covering it as the season progresses, as we see what happens with that team up north and the NCAA sanctions sure to come, vacated wins, etc. And what does Ohio State do to recover from this? Bowl season, playoff implications, recruiting next year, etc. We will see what's next. And real quick before I get to Shane, I want to know how the fans feel like this video. If you say, you know what, Ryan Day, you're pretty good, but something's not right, see you later. Or comment why we should keep him. Shane Larson, as you sit here for the third year in a row, wondering how... Welcome to the 2000 and 1990s once again. How are you feeling, my friend?
I'm still frustrated, Johnny. I'm not gonna lie. I'm about a quarter of the way into my large Sonic Blast. Shout out Sonic if you guys want to sponsor the show. Reese's Peanut Butter Cup. I had to leave the house immediately, but I think I've started to get my thoughts under me. You know, I've said less swear words today than I normally do. I don't know, man. I'm trying to figure it all out myself, but I'm trying not to be like an emotional creature where I like start spewing information without like having my thoughts straight. So I'm in that zone right now, like the rest of Buckeye Nation.
Yeah. I was trying to. I did a little workout. I made sure to do something today. I went hunting this morning. I did a little bit of workout at halftime. Did some workout in the commercial breaks in the second half, and worked out a little bit after the game. It's the only way. You can't let your life revolve around this game. Only if we're winning. And even then, like when you win, you just, you're happy. Like for 2 decades, we basically were like, yep, beat them again. Things are great, And then you go on about your life, just and you say some stuff on Twitter. So most fans won't be like me, though. Like after this, I'll probably go play with my daughter, spend some time with my family. Shane, most people won't do that. Most people are just going to say, listen, this has got to change. Enough's enough. Half the fan base, the super emotional ones, will, say it was quarterback play. Certainly some blame there. The ones that are consuming mass amounts of alcohol will probably say that as well. I think that there are also implications here, man. I can't believe I'm saying this, but I don't know if Ryan Day can do it. I don't know. I've been the biggest Day apologist. I don't know. What's your like instant thoughts? I know you haven't had a chance to roll it around. And I'm glad I have you here instead of Corey, because Corey was emphatic last year. It ain't Ryan Day. And I'm like, And then he told me later, I had a chance to calm down. I'm not as emotional. And I'm like, what are you, a woman? You say things out of emotion? Like, that's, but I don't think I'm being emotional. I'm pretty level-headed here. What do you think?
So here's the situation. I've thought a lot about this. Obviously, there's a higher standard at Ohio State. But Jim Harbaugh also was in the exact same situation if you want to really get serious about it. I mean, he could not beat anybody of importance, especially Ohio State. He was on the hot seat for a lot longer, and he wasn't winning other games either. Ryan Day has proven that he can get the team to play at an exceptionally high level. It's just that this particular game, for some reason, the stars don't execute like stars all the time. So, yeah, there's some accountability that needs to be held there. But, I mean, we look at the college football playoff losses that he's experienced as well. And it's like, can you really fault him for that Clemson game? I mean, there was some terrible officiating in that Clemson game. Can you fault him for the Georgia game? He came out there and they executed well. I mean, I don't know what else he can really do there. a couple bad calls too, like a targeting that should have probably been called on Harris. I mean, there's a lot of things that can go. So it's hard for me to just say, oh, Day just can't win the big ones. I thought this year they played much better. They were much more well prepared. You just got beat by a team that executed better more often in the game than we did. So, and I'm going to be real, Johnny, like it's not all on Day. There was one drive I thought at the end of the first half. I think you were mentioning it on Twitter. I think that was a very big mishap. Like, what are we doing here? Like, I get it. 4th and 2. It's kind of a hard situation. You wanted to try to come away with points, but I'm like, man, you're moving them. Get the 2 yards, spike the ball, and let's get something else going. Like, keep the drive moving. But other than that, though, I mean, that was still a makeable field goal. It was hard for him as a career long, but other than that, I thought he did all right. But our stars, man, there were times, it wasn't just McCord. McCord played a pretty decent game. It wasn't his worst game. I don't think that was his worst game by any means. He actually played a decent game after the first quarter. Like, he actually was confident and getting some passes out there. But our stars got to play like stars. Like, that first drive of the game, Ibuka, because you got to catch the ball when it's on your hip, right? Like, that's a 3rd down and 6, very first drive of the game. That's halts momentum. It puts the defense on the, like, catch the ball. Like, I don't know what else to tell you. Like, stars got to play like stars. And that's just the reality of the situation. And our defensive line, sorry, guys, you gave up 8 minutes. That's not Ryan Day. You literally, well, they chunked 7 minutes off the clock and you knew what they were doing. So it's like, man up, drop your sack, and let's go. Like, I don't know what else to say. It's like, I don't know how to blame it all on Day, but I guess there has to be some accountability there.
Yeah, and for me, I didn't think he coached an awful game. I would a couple of reactions. It's interesting you bring up Jim Harbaugh's start. He started 0-3 in the game. He actually started 0-5 or 6, and after the NCAA is done, he's actually going to be about 0-7 before he gets his first win, being this one, which he wasn't even there for. But he did start 0-3, and had a good team in 2015. They got railroaded. He had a really good team in 2016. Very limited on offense, but his style ball. Lost a nail biter to Ohio State. And then he had a meh team in 17. The team actually started trending worse, it seemed like, after 17. But then 18 was a good team. He lost it again. 19 So I will say that is very interesting to wonder if, like, is Day just figuring out how to be a head coach? Yes, he was handed a good situation, but, like, there's a reason Urban was the way he was, because of the results that it drove. So, maybe Ryan Day needs to figure out what Jim Harbaugh had to figure out, minus the illegal stuff. Also, I thought the end of the first half was dreadful. Like I'm a big Day defender. What are we doing? Do you want it or not? Sherrone Moore went through, 2, 3, 4th downs?
3 4th down conversions in that one drive. It's like, dude, that's how you got to play.
And he's the one that had every right to defer and punt because he's a stand-in, Now, Day goes out there and just, like, well, what are we doing, dude? Like, again, I'm a huge Ryan Day apologist, but, like, are we trying to score or not? And the defense is playing great. 35 seconds left. You can go for it there. You don't have anything drawn up. So that the second half I thought was okay. I do think Jim Knowles has issues with being all one way or all another. He's either all aggression or all contain. He went all contain. They just ran the ball for an hour. All contain. Ryan Day let the defense get rested. I thought that was a masterclass on the drive where we ran the ball and got our defense a breather and leaned on their defense. So the other thing that makes me, there's 2 reasons I say maybe Day's got to go. That wasn't that bad of a game. But it's the 3rd one in a row. That just can't be tolerated here. A little bit of hiccups in game management like we talked about. And I also will say when he calls the game tight, McCord plays tight. When he calls the game loose, McCord plays loose. Every time he puts his foot on the gas, McCord plays better. But what gets me is what you were talking about. There's some guys that weren't ready. Again, how is Emeka Egbuka not ready for this game in the first quarter? How is Marvin Harrison Jr.? And maybe it's because he's had a little bit of diva in him all year. How's he quit on a route in the first quarter against Michigan? Oh, your top 5 pick in the NFL, a sophomore stepped in front of your route, so you're done. You're just going to let him have it. Another deep shot that was a little bit overthrown, but you could make a play on the ball. Nah, I only catch passes that come right to me. Why? Why is that attitude there? I think that's different. That part of Urban being a psycho to everyone made them get ready. And that's like, how are they not ready? How did Jim Knowles not know Michigan was going to go to the tight end? It's Michigan. So that's where I'm kind of at. Like, I just don't, like, how many excuses can I keep making for the guy? He's gotten better. I don't know if that's it. If this is like, what do we do, Shane? Do we lose by 1 next year and then like start winning every now and then? Like, is it a gradual progression? I don't know.
Here's the situation, though. I don't know who the answer is, though. Everyone's get Day out of there. You can't do this. Okay, cool. I get your points. I'm not against that. I want to win too. Keep in mind, we definitely exceeded expectations this year. I would just hope that everybody understands that. Like, now we're kind of like in this emotional phase. Everyone's like, "Oh, we should have won, dude." There's a lot of people picking us to lose 3 games this year. I picked us to lose 2.
I heard a lot of 9-3. I heard a lot of 9-3.
The fact that we were in this position, we exceeded expectations. That alone should stand out to Ryan Day and preparing him. But we're focusing on this game. Who's the solution? The thing with Urban was he has Ohio ties. Like we had, like, there's something, you have to have someone who understands the game. You have to have somebody who understands the culture and somebody who's been there, who has head coaching experience. It's not like Day's completely flopped. It's just, man, like, these guys. Yeah. They gotta have something with the culture. And let me tell you something. What you just said, though, I want to touch base on that, and I would love to hear what people have to say. But I don't want to apologize for McCord's throw. That pick was a pretty bad throw. He was anticipating it to be different. They played better coverage than he was expecting. He didn't really look. But dude, exactly what you said. I'm like, Marvin, come on, like, he got in front of you, cut across him, man. Like, cut across him and at least try to knock the ball down. And
if he plays hard. Yeah, if he plays hard, at best, that's a contested interception. But likely a PBU, or you actually get to sneak the catch in.
Yeah, see, this is what I'm talking about. It's like, you quit on the play, and yes, it was a bad throw. Don't get me wrong. But, like, you got to – I think what happens is some of these receivers are like, well, if I don't do then it's the blame cannot go on me at all. Like, it's like they have to have an out. It's like
you ever like that dude up in basketball that thinks you're a white guy. I know it's happened to you. It's happened to me a lot. A guy starts checking you, and he doesn't think you're very good. Then you start lighting it up, and so they play even more lax defense on you because, like, well, if I'm not trying, I can say I let him score. Doesn't it remind you of that a little bit?
Yeah,
How many times has that happened to you? How many times has that happened to you?
It happens all the time because I'm a shooter, dude. I'm a shooter.
Yeah. So I will say this. I don't know. Like, I don't know who the answer is. But how many people in 2001, was it, said, who's the answer from John Cooper? He recruits at a high level. We have Heisman Trophy winners. Let's go get some guy in a sweater vest from Youngstown State. Maybe, I don't know. And maybe it is Ohio ties because the last 2 guys that were dominant in the rivalry had a big-time Ohio ties. Urban's from right up the road from here, and Ashtabula, and, Jim's obviously an Ohio guy. Is that what it takes, though? Like, can we just get a guy that's really good at prepping people? Like, I don't think Luke Fickell is some otherworldly coach, but I don't think you have to be to win this game. You get the right OC, you get the right DC, and guys are just prepared. Like, again, if we're just prepared, I think we do a lot better in this game.
Yeah.
I don't think we're miles away. But Day has kind of, like, shown a tendency to kind of not I think he's a little hesitant with Kyle because he's a first-year starter and has some limitations. But, like, Kyle's a lot better when you let it rip.
Yeah.
That last interception, that's part – I mean, listen, he's getting hit as he throws, and he's trying to make something happen. There's no – he can't chuck it out of bounds. It's just, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
He's trying to make a play because you're down late because of all the other stuff we talked about. The Minnesota game I thought was a good example. We run the ball. Half's almost over. We drop back and pass and get our quarterback rolled up on and injure his ankle for the most important game of the year. No coach is perfect. No quarterback is perfect. So I can't say fire a guy because he has a few discrepancies here and there. Urban had discrepancies. My goodness.
Yeah.
He hired Ed Werner for, my goodness. But days are just kind of compiling. Real quick, who do you think was the better quarterback in this game?
Oh, I thought, here we go. It comes down to making plays. I thought they were both pretty equally as impressive, but JJ he ran the ball when he needed to run the ball and made some big plays there. And, I mean, some of his plays, the touchdown pass that went between two dudes and, should have been an interception. Yeah. That's a fantastic throw. Okay, give him credit. And the throw across the middle of the field that gave him a 32.
Just a play.
He made a play. It was kind of a crappy. They're very similar quarterbacks. I hate to say that, but they are. They're just kind of like vanilla. But he made plays, and I thought JJ played a little bit better. But I wish we would have seen McCord. I like the style of play when we pass to open up the run, and when you start doing that, then the running game opens up, which we got to see a little bit. And I thought if we would have done that from the jump, we would have seen a different game because we were breaking their defense down, dude. Their defense was tired. Their defense was not used to it. And even on that last drive, man, we marched down the field in 2 plays. And then on that interception, if he's not getting his, on a 4-man rush, he's not getting his face hit. Marv arguably might have caught that ball. It would have been a close one because the dude is, floating over. But if he throws that with a full speed, I think Marvin has a chance.
Oh, yeah. Marv catches that ball, I think. Yeah.
So I don't know, man. I thought they both played well, but I'll give it to JJ because
situational football.
He did a good job. He took care of it.
Yeah. See, he was good situationally. I will give you that. If that touchdown gets rightfully called an interception, though, the yards, everything's weighed. Even with how it stands, you want to take a guess who had more yards?
Oh, I thought it was McCord.
It was McCord by a lot.
Yeah.
You want to guess who had more completions?
Didn't McCord have 2 more completions? Did I get that wrong?
1 or 2 more. Yeah. Guess who had more yards per attempt?
Oh.
McCord.
Oh, that would be McCord. Yeah.
Guess who had more passing touchdowns? McCord. So, and I'm not doing that to push back on what you said because JJ made some situational plays. I'm simply pointing out people that scream of quarterback plays the reason we lost this game.
Oh, I don't think it's the reason we lost the game.
Yeah, I know you don't because you don't drink, but seriously, when people are, you can just tell. You can just tell. The people in the comments carting about you comment why you hate Kyle McCord and how much you drink during a week. Just leave me that below. Look, I'm not saying he was great, but he was the better of the 2 quarterbacks, and you saw the other team won. J.T. Barrett won against Michigan. When the teams are ready, it doesn't take. C.J. Stroud is lighting up the NFL. He's never sniffed a win against Michigan. Never came close to one. All he's known is blown out, and he's a generational freak of a passer. It takes more than quarterback play. So I say that to people, again, there's more to life than this game. Go play with your kids, put the bottle down, maybe have your liver tested, maybe get out and get some fresh air, and relax. Yeah, Kyle's got to get better, but he's trying to make a play on that last throw. I wish he shoe shines it or dirts it or whatever, but he doesn't know he's going to get hit, I think he thinks, or he doesn't know he's going to get hit as quick as he does. I think we got to have better tackles. We got to have a better center. Hopefully they'll improve just like I think Kyle will improve. I think the defense had a great year. Situationally, they were a little down. I think Ryan Day had a pretty good year. Situationally, he made some mistakes. I don't think Kyle was any worse than the offensive line was. I don't think he was any worse than than Ryan Day was. I don't think he was any worse than Jim Knowles was in the second half, at least. Certainly wasn't. So that was. I'm not taking a moral victory here, but it's almost nice to know we can at least hold up and not completely fall apart.
Yeah.
Right? At least that's nice. So it's kind of an odd one, though. I expected a similar game, but in reverse. I thought we'd make, one or two more plays, and I predicted 27-20 Buckeyes. I'm wrong, like usual. My wife will tell you.
Hey, it comes down to a couple plays, though, right? You always think back and you're like, man, well, yeah, the call in the end zone, that's a big one, obviously. But I mean, the field goal, that's a big one.
The OPI, what about that?
Dude, a missed
Did
call
you
there.
are we being biased fans,
No,
or is
no, no, no,
that
no. No, I'm not, because I look at things
Okay.
pretty well. Like, I try to be pretty neutral when I'm looking at stuff. I get pissed at the game when I'm watching it, but I'm like, okay, hold on, let me check. That was offensive pass interference. They missed a very big holding call on us at the goal line. We should have gotten called for a holding up the middle at the goal line. I watched it. The dude was getting so pissed, and I wanted to say it was the play before Henderson got in for a touchdown. I can't remember, but it was on the drive where we were just marching down their throats. And dude, we yanked the dude completely around. He spun in the circle. He just looks. We got away with some stuff too. So don't get me wrong. I look at things and say, okay, but those are some crucial calls. A third down pass, offensive pass interference, and it was blatant. These aren't subjective.
It was really bad.
Dude,
Rob Gronkowski's got probably 1,000 yards of OPIs in his career for less than that, right?
right. But here's the deal, man. I can't blame the game on that. I will never do that, because it's infuriating to like sit there and just. I thought I thought Michigan played a pretty dang good, like no false starts. Like they were just playing a pretty disciplined game for the most part. There weren't a ton of flags everywhere. So like, yeah, it comes down to a couple things. They're at home field. Sometimes that happens. You get a little momentum shift with the home field crowd. Who knows? They outplayed us. Simply put, they made the plays and we didn't. They kicked the field. They made their field goals, right? We didn't make a field goal. Like, we missed that field goal. That was a big one. So I don't know, man.
Situational football and discipline. Again, it's not because, like, if your quarterback was better, would that make you not give up an 8-minute drive? Like, no, you know what I mean? Even everything's got to be better. Like, if McCord is 10% better, the defense is 5% better, the offensive line is 10% better, the receivers are 10% better, and Ryan Day is 10% better, that's a national championship team by pretty big, like, however, I mean, but almost only counts in horseshoes and hand grenades. So I'm not going to take a victory lap here. The L is what it is. But I think to put it in perspective is important, because it's hard to make sense of these things. I can't tell you, like, Ryan Day says all the right things. And he's a pretty good coach.
Yeah.
I do. I think he's a fantastic offensive mind and a pretty good coach. He's a little herky-jerky right now in his identity or whatever it is. So that's something we got to figure out. I really don't know where you go from here. I don't think he will get fired. I think if I'm the AD at Ohio State, I probably put the word on the street. I'm looking, but I'm not. So, it'd be interesting who's the new AD and how are they going to tolerate it? Like, that's thanks, Gene. Thanks for stepping down after 3 in a row, taking an L. Yeah, putting all this on my maybe that's why Gene retired. He's like,
I think he knew
I'm not going to be the guy that has to fire this guy.
Listen, I'm a Boise State guy. We just fired our coach, and we're going through it over here at BSU. And here's the thing I'll leave with, Johnny, on this whole thing for Buckeye Nation. It's just something for us to think about, right? Like you said, Ryan Day is a good coach. There are very few elite coaches in college football. Saban's one of them, and I don't know if there's many others. It's really hard to find any elite coach that can consistently put seasons and championship contending teams together, right? Especially in college football with the landscape is NIL and recruiting. It's difficult, right? So I actually think Day is in the top tier. He's not elite, but he is great. And that's the same as a lot of college football programs. There's only usually 1 or 2 elite teams every year. Then there's great, then there's good, and then there's piss poor. So, but we're right between that great and elite. Every year we're sitting right about that mark. And I think that's the same as a coach with Ryan Day. So I'm not going to sit here and take a crap on him. I think he's been a phenomenal coach, and I think the players do play behind him. They believe in him. They rally for him. It's just sometimes you lose a game, and it's just like, how do we get past it? Well, you got to play better. I don't know how else to explain it. Sometimes you can lead a horse to water, can't make him drink, that whole concept. Well, you can't. You can call a game, and maybe the players just don't execute. I don't know. Sometimes that happens too, and I don't know if we can all put it on Day. I think we should at least have some gratitude for what Ryan Day has done, whether he stays with us or not, and we have to let him go. I don't care. I've actually been pretty pleased with him overall because most programs in the country would be grateful for it. So,
yep. And I will say I am grateful for the good things he has done. I'm hard on Marvin Harrison, but I was grateful for every fantastic catch he made, every score he made. Sometimes he made the unnatural look easy. So he's a fantastic player. Emeka, Trey. I mean, a lot of these guys, 11-1's not bad, especially when everybody was screaming 9-3. You just can't lose this one. But life does go on. We will see what the future has in store, and we'll kind of pick up from here. This will be a spicy offseason, Shane, with that team up north, what's going on. And, we'll see what happens. Probably not a lot of playoff hopes unless, if Alabama beats Georgia, what do? You cannot put Alabama in. You just can't. Not over Ohio State. But you cannot put Georgia in. You can't. Played one top team and they get beat. So I don't know. But they will.
No, the only way Ohio State even has the chance, I just talked about this between the game ending, is Georgia has to win and Washington has to win. You have to, and then Florida State has to lose.
Okay.
You can't. I think it's opposite. I think they're going to put both Alabama and Georgia in if Bama wins, which would be wild. If Texas is the one loss for them. If Texas wins out, it's a crazy year. But you also can't keep out Florida State if they win it. I mean, everyone says, "Oh, they hurt their quarterback." Well, Buckeye Nation understands how that goes, and they won a championship out of it. So, I have a hard time saying that too. So I don't know. There's a chance, but I don't know. I'm not going to get my hopes up at all. I just want to see us maybe get a bowl victory and see if McCord plays well in that. And try to get into the offseason.
Yeah. Let's see if they can put him in a bunch of 3rd and longs and then be mad that he's not converting them. All right. Well, I'm going to let you go enjoy your ice cream. I'm going to go try to enjoy a little bit of day with family. I hope you guys out there all do the same. As always, goodbye. God bless. Go Bucks.